What is up, guys? James here from the Light of Riga YouTube channel, and in this video we're going to be doing a reading for all my Taurus sun sign friends. If you were born between the dates of April 20th and May 20th, then you're a Taurus sun sign, and this reading is for you. In today's video we're going to be doing a love relationship reading for the month of August. This spread will hopefully give you some insights into your romantic relationships. We're going to do a reading for those who are in a relationship and one for those who are single. So if you're one or the other, please, you're free to skip through the video to get to the portion that pertains to you. We're going to do relationship first and then single. Before we get too far into it, I'd like to introduce you to my crystal friends. I got a rhodonite sphere here. This is a crystal of love. We got sodalites, which is going to help me to do a more accurate reading. And of course, we've got rose quartz, which everyone knows is basically the crystal of love. So these crystals are going to give us some great energy for this reading. I'm going to be using the Llewellyn Classic Tarot deck. It's a little bit cartoony, but I love it. Okay, so if you would, just give me a moment to center myself and ask the tarot cards a question. What are the energies surrounding Taurus sun signs who are in a relationship? And to do it, let's cut the deck. And we're going to deal out 5 cards. Alright, and I've also brought the Earth Magic Oracle with me today because we're going to ask this Oracle deck what message it has for Taurus people who are in a relationship. What message it has for Taurians who are in a relationship. And we will take a look at that at the end. Alright, we're going to look at these cards individually and then see what they have to say as a whole. The first card we're going to look at represents your energy in the relationship, and we have the Moon. Okay. Hold on. Let me really get into this card. Alright, I get the feeling that this is kind of a time for you guys to do a little bit of soul searching. Maybe withdraw a little bit. Not that not withdraw to the point where you feel alone, but you're not entirely connected to your other partner at this time, is the feeling I'm getting. Maybe some of you are dealing with some darker emotions and you don't want to burden your partner with those, so you're kind of withdrawing a little bit. Maybe others are doing some soul searching and you're raising your vibration and you're learning new truths about yourself that you're kind of taking the time to digest, and this is something that you kind of feel like you should do on the solo tip. Remember, this is a general reading. Take what you will, leave the rest. Figure out how this applies to you. But the Moon card is about self-reflection, self-analyzation, maybe a little bit of loneliness even could be taken from this card. So I do get the feeling that you guys are feeling a little bit withdrawn at this point from your relationship. Okay, this card here represents the energy of your partner, and we've got the Death card. No one's gonna die. Okay, let me go into this card. Okay, I think your partner's a little bit confused. Your partner, he or she, is looking at the change that's happening within you and is not 100% sure what's going on and is kind of like in the dark. I'm getting the feeling that like maybe you're not communicating with your partner well enough what's happening with you, so that they look at you and your relationship and they're getting a little bit concerned that there's major changes going on, which could be true. Maybe there are major changes, but they might be looking at like the worst case scenario. Maybe they think the relationship is over or is ending, and they're very concerned about that. So definitely I do see a miscommunication here between the two of you guys, that you're gonna have to hash out, and it's probably gonna be you explaining where you are to your partner right now, so that your partner's not so like, oh my goodness, he or she is like just wanting to leave, right? Which might be the case, but it's probably not. It's probably just you dealing with your own stuff. So definitely don't keep your partner in the dark, because their mind is going to the worst case scenario right now. So they need information from you, and I think that's what you need to provide them at this time, okay? This card here represents what's working in the relationship, and we've got the Two of Swords. I think what's working is that the decision-making abilities that you guys share is pretty on point. I get the feeling that you guys kind of, not that you know where your relationship is headed, but you're pretty open. You're willing to be flexible in how your relationship evolves and where it goes and what it is, and you're willing to take the time to think about where it's headed, if that makes any sense to you. Definitely what's working, I feel that flexibility is the main thing I'm getting from this card. Like, nothing's set in stone. If things change, you're willing to change along with it. You're willing to go down a different path if that's the path that seems like the best one, even though it might not have been the path that you envisioned from the start. So flexibility is the main thing I'm getting from this card, and that's pretty much what's working in this relationship. Is you both are pretty flexible is the feeling I'm getting, and you're willing to either compromise or make complete drastic changes to help the relationship out, which is great. This card represents what's not working in the relationship. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. And traditionally, the court cards could represent a person. If that is the case in this reading and as it pertains to you, the female in this relationship, though that's not necessarily the case, but I get the feeling that the female in the relationship is a little bit possessive, is a little bit too grounded, is a little bit too worried in finances and or possessions or acquisitions or a home, maybe even health. But I hate to be gender specific, because the court cards are not necessarily gender specific. So I do get the feeling that the loving person in this relationship is a little bit too grounded, not enough emotion going into the relationship, not enough passion, not enough physical, spiritual energy is in this relationship. This is very grounded. I'm getting the feeling of groundedness, and this could be both of you. I hate to pick out one person from this relationship, but together, I think maybe you're producing a relationship that's too focused on the physical earth and not enough focus being paid to the emotions, maybe even the mind, the intellect. I do see one sword here, but yeah, very interesting. So maybe there's too much focus on the physical planes. There's too much focus on money, too much focus on cars, houses, job, that sort of thing. Yeah, this could be a too great of a focus on the job. I'm getting the sense of a female here, but that's not necessarily the case. Don't hold me to that, okay? But like I said, how does this spread pertain to you? All right, this last card here represents where you are headed as a couple. And we've got the Six of Pentacles. And I'm getting the feeling that one person is going to find themselves putting a little bit more into this relationship than the other person, or at least feeling that way, and is going to be a little bit miffed about that. So I hate to call it negativity. I just call them like I see them. I'm a very real person. You have to get real to heal. And the way I see that is one person being a little bit more invested in this relationship in the future. That could be you. It could be the other person. It's going to be different for everyone. How does this pertain to you? But yes, I do see that occurring if things don't change a little bit. So if that's you, if you're the one who feels like you're not putting enough into this relationship, you should probably try to find a way to put more into this relationship so that there's an even exchange of energy. If you are the one who feels like, what did I say? If it's the other way around, maybe try to figure out ways that you can tell your partner that you feel like there's not an even exchange without them getting offended, without them, getting angry, right? So that at least it's known, at least it's out there, so that you've expressed your emotions and your feelings. Okay. Looking at these cards as a whole, I'm not seeing too much cup energy. I do have a little major arcana going on here as far as what's happening with you guys. It looks like big things are occurring in your relationship, things that might even possibly be beyond your control. The inner journey that you're going on, and then the change that your partner is experiencing. They're big things, big shifts. So I do see a lot of movement in your relationship right now. But you guys are good at being flexible, being open, and being able to take the road that presents itself rather than having to dictate which way you're going. But I do see maybe there's a little bit too much groundedness in your relationship, too much attention to the physical aspects of things, or work or money or that sort of thing. Maybe on one of your parts, but maybe on both of your parts. And where I see it leading is maybe an imbalance of one person feeling a little bit slighted in the relationship. So figure out who is putting in more than the other, and try to even that scale out a little bit in however way you possibly can. Okay. All right, so we asked the Earth Magic Oracle what message it had for those who are in a relationship, which Taurians are in a relationship, and we've got Spring Equinox Rebirth. That is the message for you guys, and I definitely, with the major arcana here, I definitely see that there's changes happening. There's big things happening in your relationship, and your relationship is going to change as a result. And remember that that's not a bad thing. We go through these, if you look at the spring equinox, it happens every year. And every year the flowers bloom, the animals start mating. They go through a rebirth. They come out of this winter solstice, this winter time, and they come to spread life everywhere. And look at your relationship in that respect. I get the sense that you guys are kind of in a hibernation time, and things are changing now. But as you come out of that, you're going to realize that all that time spent was for the highest good, that it helped you become a better person and create a stronger relationship. And now, as you come out of it, you can see that it's time to spread life, love, and light everywhere you go, and make the most out of this relationship, and take it to the next level, using what you learned from that hibernation time to progress into the future. Okay. Alright, so that was the reading for those in a relationship. Now we're going to move on to those Taurians who are single. Alright, that ought to do it. Let's cut the deck and deal out 5 cards. Alright, and same thing, we're going to use the Earth Magic Oracle to tell us what message it has for Taurians who are single at this time. What message for Taurians or Taurus sun sign who are single? Alright, and we will take a look at that card at the end. Alright, we're going to look at these cards individually and then go through one by one and see what they are telling us. The first card we're going to look at here represents your energy. And oh my goodness, this is the same card we just got for those in a relationship. It seems like the energies of Taurus are pretty consistent through and through right now. Let me see if I'm getting the same message here. Yeah, same message. It's a time of introspection. It's a time of going within, maybe a little bit of loneliness. I am getting a higher, larger sense of loneliness from this card. So I get the feeling that maybe some of you are just feeling like you're out on an island. You're kind of, people aren't as interested in you as you would hope. And you feel kind of cut off from the rest of people. But I encourage you guys to remember that this is all, ego mind stuff. This is what you're telling yourself. It's not true. It's just what you're saying to yourself. And so I do get the feeling that a lot of you are kind of struggling with finding the self and figuring out your place in this world. And we'll see what these other cards say, but that's the sense I'm getting from your energy currently. Remember, this is a general reading. Not everything's going to apply to everyone specifically, but that's just the general overall energies of single Taurians at this time that I'm getting. This card here represents blockages that you may have to finding love or romance, and we've got the 9 of Cups. Oh, interesting. Okay. Maybe I misread the moon card, but I'm getting the feeling that a blockage that a lot of you have is just contentment. You're kind of happy with where you are emotionally. You guys are pretty strong people, and maybe some of you don't see the benefit of finding a relationship. Maybe a lot of you are happy with your job and your hobbies and your creativity and your family, and the need for emotional satisfaction derived from another person isn't that strong. So maybe that is a blockage to you finding love, is that you don't feel like you need it or want it, and that's fine if that's true. But maybe for those of you who are looking for love, I think maybe a blockage that you might have is complacency and just being satisfied with where you are, to the point where you're not going to put in the energy to change things, because who wants to do that, right? You know what I mean? That's the feeling I'm getting, and that's something that could be blocking you from finding love or romance. This represents what you can improve. We've got the Four of Cups. Aha. And so the Four of Cups generally is about being blasé, feeling low energy, just like, you know, right? If I was to put this card into a sound, it would be blah. And I think that's something that you can improve. Is maybe the cause of that is you kind of focusing on maybe some of the darker emotions that you have. And I think this could go hand in hand with the moon card here. It's just feeling a little bit alone and like no one wants me, and you know, I don't want to put the energy into it because it's just going to end up like last time, right? But what you can improve is start to focus on the positive aspects of finding a partner, and really looking at the positive things rather than the negative things. And you know, rather than looking at past hurt, look at how you can make a better future. Rather than looking at all the energy that you have to put into a relationship, start looking at all the benefits, all the energy boost that you're going to get from a relationship, and start seeing the positive. That's how you can improve. Start seeing the more positive aspects of a relationship and how you would be affected by this relationship, and I think that'll motivate you to do the things necessary to find a new relationship. So that's the way you can improve. This card here represents what to avoid. We've got the Tower. Oh, I got to go into this card. Give me a moment. Okay, this card is saying not everything's going to work out perfectly, okay? Sometimes things are going to just completely self-destruct and crumble before your very eyes, and that's going to happen. And this card is saying don't allow that to affect you negatively. Don't be afraid of that happening. Don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of rejection. Don't be afraid of, you know, just things not working out and you feeling negative emotions because of that. If you are avoiding jumping into the pool because you might drown, then you never get to go swimming. Okay. So you can't be afraid. You're gonna have to face your fear at some point, and this card is saying, you know, avoid those fears. You know, just because something doesn't work out or might not work out or hasn't worked out in the past doesn't mean that the next adventure that you go on can't be perfect, right? And so you got to avoid that fear. You got to avoid the fear of just drastic destruction. Basically, is the feeling I'm getting from this card. And yeah, and even if it does happen, you know, you've learned something from that, and now you're a better person. So see these disasters as something positive and something beneficial for you. This card here represents where you're headed if you follow down this path. We've got the Four of Wands, and nothing could be better than the Four of Wands. This card is about celebration. It's about a happy home life. Sometimes it's about marriage. And so I do see a prosperous future for you guys. I do see some roadblocks, some stumbles, and you're going to have to do some self-work, okay? You're going to have to work on yourself in order to see that prosperous future. It's not just going to happen. It's not going to come magically. Although it might for some of you, it's possible. But for the most of you, I do see you guys having to come out of a period of loneliness and it's kind of not laziness. It's not laziness is not the word, but you're just satisfied with where you're at. And if you do want to find a relationship, you're gonna have to get past that and maybe put yourself out there. It's gonna be scary. It's gonna be what I mean. It's scary out there. I'll admit. So it's not gonna be like all roses, but if you do have the courage to put yourself out there, then you will find happiness. The Four of Wands is saying it's there. You will find happiness. You will find celebration. For some of you, you will find marriage. It's just a matter of getting yourself out of a funk, if that's what you're feeling, or it's not even a funk necessarily, but kind of a period of I'm struggling to find the right words. Not selfishness, not a funk, but kind of self-centeredness to the point where you feel like you don't need a relationship or want it. And maybe this is something you're just telling yourself to cover up the past hurt that you felt. Anyway, I don't know. How does this apply to you? You tell me in the comment section, okay? The last thing we're going to look at is the message that the Earth Magic Oracle has for all those Taurian singles. What the heck? This is the same card we got for the relationship Taurians. This is crazy, man. There's like 50-something cards in this deck. Anyway, same exact message for you guys. Man, if you watch this whole video, you're probably pretty as weirded out as I am. But same message for the singles out there is that you may be in a dark period right now, and you may be feeling like you're alone and things are just terrible, and focus on those dark emotions. But realize that when spring comes, and it comes every year, that darkness fades away, and it's time to spring to life again. The birds are chirping, the animals are mating, the flowers are blooming, and life has returned because we needed that downtime to find ourselves. We needed that downtime to prepare for this energetic push that we're going to have, and that's what you are going to have. Is you will eventually come out of this low period, and you will find that it's time to spring to life again. And when you do, it's going to be all roses. Okay, it's gonna be beautiful, and you're gonna really cherish those down times, because they're gonna help you realize how beautiful the life is during the spring, right? That is my little metaphor. Okay, so there we go. That is the reading. I'm a little bit weirded out, but this is tarot, so I'm not weirded out at all. Okay, Taurians, you got some major energies going on, and it's just across the board is what it feels like to me. So not much you can do about it. This is major arcana here. This moon card is peeking its head out for Taurians, and it's just here, and you just got to deal with it and get through it, and you will get through it. Okay, so there is that reading. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Remember, this is a general overall reading, and if you want a more specific reading tailored just for you, then head on over to my Etsy shop. The link is in the description and in the card, and we can do this reading or any number of other readings that you want to do for yourself, where we get down to the bottom of your energies. Please consider giving this video a like if you got something out of it. If it helped you in any way, it lets me know I did something right. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, then put those in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this reading. And if you really enjoyed this, please consider subscribing, because I release these videos regularly and you don't want to miss it. Alright guys, Taurians, I wish you all the luck in the world. You don't need it. Things are going to happen for you, I promise. Alright guys, leave a like if you enjoyed this. Happy taroting. Peace.